On today's show, Peter has a short dream of a tree falling. This is such an important dream. Mark, who's on the other side of the planet, dreams of helping a dragon put on armor. Both these dreams are related. Stay tuned to find out what's going on. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello and welcome.
This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you on your journey. That's why we focus on dreams. If you want to understand what you're meant to be doing in your life right now, at this very moment in time, then look no further than your dreams. Through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you what your superpowers are and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analyzed on our show, go to dream-analysis.com/podcast and fill in the form there, or use the email address that you find there to send us your dream. That's all you have to do. Then we take it from there. So, Sandy, anything going on?
Well, we got a lot going on. We just started our mentorship, our mentorship program. That's a 9-month program, and it started in May. And so if you're interested in that, you can always look Michael up. As well as we have a spiritual dimension of dreams going on, and a
Dream Tracker's Guide.
Yes, that's what I couldn't think of, the Dream Tracker's Guide. So we've got a lot going on. And then the free clinic that was at the beginning of this month, the first Tuesday of the month, is up there. And you can go watch it if you want to see what's been going on. And that's under free clinic, freedreamclinic.com. And you'll be able to see the latest one. And if there's any previous ones that you had asked about and didn't get to see, send us an email and we'll see what we could do to make sure that you have the ability to be able to see that again or listen to it again. Anyways, we got some exciting dreams. I'm really excited to see where we're going today. What are your thoughts, Michael?
Well, let's just get into the dreams. I'm always excited for them.
All righty. The first one is sitting up sleeping, and it's from Joanne. I'm in a hotel and there is a window, and this Chinese woman comes in and tells me to lay down when I sleep because I am doing it sitting up with my legs crossed like I'm meditating. Then when I go to lay down, another woman goes to cover me with some blankets that are already there, but the Chinese woman gets me another one that matches the bedding and it's pink. Then I asked Ron to switch rooms, and we go to a room with an attached bathroom, which is better for me because my bladder issues. And for some reason, I know it is Granny's house. There's a pool and it's visible through a window in the room I'm in. The water seems really inviting, but I need to rest. So I decided not to go in.
This dream has more than one layer. And I like that it has very obviously more than one layer. All dreams do. There's multiple layers. There's up to 16 layers in a dream. But here we can see two strong ones, and they compete with each other. And I'll make sense of that in a moment. But we know it starts off with the dreamer's reception at the start of life because there's a hotel in the dream. We know she's intuitive because right away there's a window. So she came here to use her intuition. Then we have the woman comes in, tells her to lay down and not be sitting in a meditation pose. So bedrooms and dreams are about our spiritual side sometimes, because of the fact that we leave our bodies when we sleep and we go to the spirit world, and we're very aware of what's going on in our lives. It's kind of funny when you think about this. Like, you're having difficulty in your career and you really want to solve this problem. And then you meet your guides and angels in the middle of the night and you go, I'm nearly getting out of this. How do I make sure that I keep this problem until I deal with the issue and learn? And they help you to do that, which is just funny. And then we get back into our bodies and go, oh no, I still have all these problems. That's what this is about. The dreamer has a spiritual nature that she is developing and working on hard, which is really good. But issues with mom are kind of have her suppressing that. So she has a bit of a conflict, trying to develop herself, but then the start of life and the way mom was causing her to want to go back to sleep. And we used to call this show So You Think You're Awake, because most of us are going around in our waking life still asleep. We're unaware of who we are, what our abilities are, why we even came here. And we just live our lives that way, focused in mundane areas. But anyway, this dream just kind of made me think of that, because the dreamer's trying to wake up or trying to get into the spiritual field and develop herself and discover who she is. But she's working against the start of life that she had with mom. Now, we know it's mom because of the women involved in the dream, but we also know it's mom because we have pink comes up. And you can't change the meaning of colors in dreams. So pink is always about unconditional love. That's what it means in a dream. So when you're given it in a dream like she is, because one of the women comes in and gives her a pink blanket to match the bedspread, that is a dream's way of balancing the fact that you didn't get unconditional love at this time in your life, at the start of your life. And so even though it's negative, you're still getting the dream given the love, but it only gives it to you because you didn't get it. So it's trying to fix that imbalance. Is there anything else I want to say about that? Yeah, we have the two women, one playing positive, one playing negative. This is kind of common when you're working on yourself, you'll see like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing. Just interesting to see it. It always indicates a particular phase in therapy. But then the dream switches. Any comments on that first part, Sandy?
Yeah, so a couple questions. The first woman is Chinese. Does Chinese have anything to do with what's going on?
Yeah, very commonly for Westerners, Chinese people in dreams symbolize our guides. And so the Chinese woman coming in and giving her the pink blanket is love from your guides.
Okay. And then what is the laying down going to sleep? I thought we didn't want to do that. Is that the negative part?
Yeah, it is. Work on yourself spiritually, meditate, all that sort of stuff, all positive. But then going to sleep is not good in a dream. Waking up in a dream is fantastic, particularly dreams where you wake up in the dream or it's dawn, it's morning time and you get out of bed. Very, very positive because that's about you becoming aware.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All righty, let's go. Next part.
So then she asks Ron to switch rooms and we go to a room with an attached bathroom, which is better for me because my bladder issues. And for some reason, I know it's Grammy's house. So here in this part, it's like, okay, this is suddenly a switch. This is about relationship. Why is it switching to being about relationship? So it's saying that I've taken the issues of not getting unconditional love from mom. I've taken those issues and brought them directly into my relationship. And it doesn't say anything negative about Ron. So it's just it's making the connection for the dreamer. Like if you're looking at your relationship, you need to look back and say, this is my start of life. I didn't get loved. I didn't learn how to love myself. And that's going to impact my relationship. I'm not going to feel love from people who do love me, etc., etc. The bladder issues are real for this dreamer, so we can kind of ignore that. But the bathroom is typically shown in dreams after we have a setup. The setup, like saying, here's the issue. Then we have a bathroom, and that's about eliminating that issue. So this difficult start from mom is to be eliminated. And that part still works. Then there's a pool that's visible through a window. So we have a window again. So the pool is about life and getting into life and her spiritual side indeed. And so she can see it. Her intuition lets her see what she's meant to do because she can see this through the window. And she says, the water seems really inviting, but I need to rest. So I decide not to go. So she keeps herself back from life. Even though her intuition is telling her, this is what you need to do. She holds herself back. And like she says, it seems really inviting. So she didn't feel invited or welcomed by mom. This is part of it. Like mom's love wasn't strong at the start. And that's what's really causing her to stay back. So we see the dream, two strong themes, but definitely connected, even just with the symbolism that they put in it. And it's always interesting. We look at issues that are going on in our life today and we say, okay, this is a thing. Like, so my issues here with Ron or in my relationship can't be anything else because they could only have started from when I met Ron. And the dreams are saying, no, absolutely not. It started way, way back. Like you were destined to have these problems because of the start of life and the fact that mom didn't give you unconditional love right at the start. And we see the intuition at the start, and then we see it again in the second part of the dream. And it's saying like, you know what you're meant to be doing, but you hold yourself back.
Wow, that's an amazing dream. You got a lot out of such a short little dream. I like
That's
the different themes
that's
and I
why I
like that.
that's why I get paid the big bucks.
I love it. All righty, let's move on to the next dream. This one is damage from falling tree from Peter. I was walking towards home from Dundrum. My neighbor, a retired police sergeant, was walking with me. As I came to where Dundrum Castle was, I saw two giant trees, hundreds of feet tall, like redwoods. One of them had a section of trunk missing. It fell over with such a loud crash that I knew the houses in the area would have structural damage. Wow. Alrighty, that's a short one. Seems a little scary.
It is short, but it's punchy. So this dreamer, Dundrum means something specific. They lived a lifetime in the area, and that was their best ever lifetime. They were, totally in tune with who they were, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's kind of like their spiritual base. When we see a dream for them in this area, we know it's their spiritual base. And it's a very specific area of Dundrum. Dreamer's Irish. And he's walking home with a retired police sergeant. Now, he wouldn't have used those words with me. He used the words Garda sergeant, because in Ireland, the police are called Gardaí. And so here's what the dream is about. One tree falling and one left. It's about the end of an epoch. And the length of the tree, the fact that it's so super tall, is like this has been a long epoch, and this is now over. It's ended. And so the second last epoch has ended, and we're in the final one. That part I did not like in the analysis when they said we're in the final epoch. So I knew something was coming. We've known this. We've talked about it on the show before for a while, Sandy, that changes are coming. The earth is changing, vibrational shifts and all that sort of stuff. But here we see it in a dream from somebody who's heavily involved in the change. Well, will be. Isn't yet, let's say, but is involved, will be involved. And we see one ending, and the old guard, which is what the police sergeant is about, or the guard, as we call them in Ireland, who's retired, they are retiring and leaving the planet as part of this epoch change. So it's like one has ended. It's like now it's done, and it's switching into a new one. And of course, we know some of what's coming, but we have to experience it to really know what's coming. And he says that there was such a crash when this tree fell that there was definitely structural damage to all the the houses in the area. So this tells us that with the fall of this epoch, with the end of this one, there's going to be structural damage. There's going to be major structural changes, let's say. Not a pleasant dream in the sense of we don't know what's coming, but very interesting. I think this is the type of dream Anne Tucker would love.
Yes, I fully agree with that. And not only that, I'm looking at it and it seems like such a mild detail. I mean, everyday things. I mean, trees fall. It's not a big deal. But wow, to have such a huge meaning. And can you define what you mean by the word epoch?
We've lived in, let's say, a masculine energy age for a considerable amount of time, thousands of years. That age is ending, and we're moving into a feminine energy age, the Aquarian age. So the Aquarian age is the first feminine energy age there's been 6 masculine energy cycles, let's say. And so now we're moving into a long feminine energy age. So major shift in how we're going to live on the planet. Masculine energy is all about structure and control and knowing where you stand. Shows up in dreams as like solid platforms, metal, things that don't budge, all that sort of stuff. Feminine energy is the complete opposite. It's all about tolerance, acceptance, allowing, letting things be, forgiveness, etc. You know, a good contrast is the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament was masculine. It's like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and by God, I'm going to enjoy getting that tooth. The New Testament is all about grace and love and turn the other cheek and forgive your enemies. And so we're shifting into that. And the way to look at it is kind of funny because The angels will tell us things are coming, but they look at things in kind of geological timeframes. And they say, oh, it's imminent. We're like, what? It's going to happen on Tuesday? And they're like, oh, no, but it's definitely going to happen. You're like, but when? It's in your lifetime. Yeah, imminent, you know. But so that's how it typically is. But yeah, so there's going to be changes. Obviously, the masculine structures that are in place are going to fall. I remember looking at this years and years ago because I grew up in Ireland, since we have an Irish dreamer here. And it's not my dream, in case you're wondering. The Catholic Church had a stranglehold on everything in Ireland, politics. Obviously, the church was everywhere. Everybody went to mass. And all the schools were run by the Catholic Church as well. I went to a Christian Brothers school, and my starting school, like first grade and all that, was run by nuns. That's how it was. That has all changed in Ireland, and you're absolutely shocked when you look at it and go, "How could it change so much?" It changed so much to the point that the Taoiseach in Ireland expelled the Vatican's emissary because they really weren't happy with how allegations of sexual abuse were being dealt with. And what's funny is this had been happening all the time, all the way going back generations. And suddenly now it matters, I mean, obviously it always mattered, but people did nothing about it. But it all changed abruptly. And now there are many churches, but very few people go to church. And they're closing churches and amalgamating them, and they're selling lands, and that's really annoying people that they're selling lands because they don't have big parishes anymore. So it's interesting to see how something that had a stranglehold, like say from like the 5th century or 6th century, just diminish and diminish from the inside. It imploded itself really, but it just shows that no matter how strong you think something is, when these changes are going to come, those structures are going to collapse. They just absolutely are. Whether they collapse from the inside, like the Catholic Church has, or it's external forces that act on it that cause it to collapse, I don't know. But when I look at how something as strong as that got damaged and rooted it out effectively in Ireland, I'd have no problem accepting that what we consider now like superpower strength really is nothing when it comes to we're repurposing how life on Earth is going to be.
Does walking towards home have anything to do with how you got the meaning of this dream, the walking part?
So when I channeled on it and I saw the tree, what they emphasized was the tree ring. So when it's fallen over, and you can look at the history of the tree by looking at the tree rings, and it's like this giant tree. So this is an enormous history that's being contained in the life of this tree. And that was the part that really emphasized, oh, this is the end of an epoch, because this tree has lived for the whole epoch.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's such a simple dream. It's just crazy.
It is. And what's interesting is we have another dream that's connected to the same change from somebody on the other side of the planet. It's not our next dream, but it's one that's coming up.
All righty. Well, let's go to the next dream. I like this next dream. It's called Healing Fairies, and it's from Molly. I was on another planet or dimension, flying around with what felt like a bunch of beings flitting around with me, with golden light in a healing capacity. Had the same dream 4 nights in a row. I love it, Michael. That's beautiful.
I do. And I won't spoil this one for you, Sandy.
Thank you.
So this is Molly's dream. Molly works with bioenergy. She's really good with bioenergy. That's where she manipulates a person's aura and can channel energy through her body into theirs and help them heal. But it's done in person. But this dream shows, because of the flying aspect, that she also has an ability to help people at a distance. So she can transmit her healing energy to other people. And she has other beings that help her with this process. She called it Healing Fairies. I asked her, why did you call it Healing Fairies? And yet you don't say fairies in the dream. And she goes, that's just the title I wanted to give it. But so we have those beings that help, and she says they're flitting around me with golden light in a healing capacity. So we already know gold because we've had it so many times on the show. Gold is about healing, indicates you're a healer. So these are special beings that help her heal. So that's really cool. When you see somebody has an ability and they have beings from another dimension that help them with that ability, then when you get work from this person, you're going to feel the benefit. I really like that.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And I like them flitting around with her in golden light. That's just gorgeous. What a nice visual, especially after the last dream that you ruined on me.
That wasn't me.
All righty. Are you ready to dive into our dragon one? I'm excited about this one. I love dragons. So the next one is dragon armor, and it's from Mark. And the dream goes, dragon given dragon armor to put on. It had armor that had sharp edges that I would fit into, including my tail. The edges had sharp cutting traits that wouldn't cut me, but would cut anyone else who fought me. Ooh, I like this armor. It fits smoothly on, and I was warned the edges were sharp on the inside and outside. Careful not to cut myself. Once on, it didn't hurt me. I went to meet my betrothed, and there was a scene where I was trying to give her something like bread with butter, but she couldn't take it. The subjects warned me not to because it would melt the butter. I had to try to feed her, and she was dejected. What a strange dream there, Michael. Let's start at the beginning. Good luck.
And I'm just going to correct a couple of pieces because this is handwritten. So he said, I did try to feed her, not I had to try. There's a difference. And the subjects warned me not because I would melt the butter, because it's a dragon. The dreamer is a dragon in the dream.
Gotcha.
So this is kind of an interesting one. And this is related to the other change. So there are a lot of light workers on the planet, a lot at this moment in time, like probably more than any other time for a very, very long time. And the architects of this planet are here back on the planet because of the epoch change. And so knowing that, and we've talked about that on this show before, to get this dream was really remarkable because when I channeled on it, we've seen this before. Dragons frequently in dreams indicate somebody who is a light worker, but not just a light worker. A lot of us come here and we come here to help and help other people grow and become aware and wake up and all that sort of stuff. But some people are involved in the battle between light and dark, and they often show up in dreams as riding a dragon or being a dragon, but dragons are involved in their dreams. And so this is one of those dreams. But putting the dragon armor on was quite remarkable. So when I channeled on it and I told Mark, you're here to help light workers. You're here to help protect light workers. And he's like, how do I do that though? And I'm like, I don't know. You're the one that's here to do it. So,
this gives me chills just listening to this. This is so cool.
But what was funny though is he said, I've been told this already. And he said, like, Ellen, you know who Ellen is, told me this 6 months ago that I'm here to protect light workers, but I've no idea how I'm meant to do it. And so then I was kind of annoyed, like, how dare Ellen steal my thunder 6 months ahead of me? But I wasn't. It's funny though, isn't it? To hear the same thing from a dream and from somebody who just channels. And so anyway, he has this ability to protect light workers. And we did get into how it might work and so on, but he's got to figure it out. And he has this special knowledge of his own. So when you see people that come that are dragons or have dragons in their dreams, they tend to have a singular purpose and they're very good at it. They know what they're doing. They know how to do it. And I had previously done a dream from Mark before, and I think I even shared it on the show. And it showed that he was to come here and infiltrate nefarious organizations and then turn them around. Like help the people who are lost in these organizations, lost in their evilness, let's say. And it turns out, I didn't know it at the time, but he was a cop. And so that's what he did. He had gone through gangs, became a cop, and that's what he does. So he has a huge tolerance for people who've lost their way, for kids who've lost their way and all that sort of stuff. and helps bring them back into the light to be the better version of themselves and all that sort of stuff. But then to see this and say, okay, you immerse yourself in the seedy side of the world in order to understand what's there, because you need to help protect light workers who can't protect themselves, or not that they can't, but they leave it to others to do the protection so that they can do their own work. And that's his skill. That's what he's meant to do. And then the whole bread piece, there's a past life connection in this, but it basically is that bread and butter blocks his chakras. He can't eat bread. So it's one of the things he has to realize. So it's like, if you eat bread and butter, you're going to damage your own ability to do what you came here to do. So it's as simple as that.
Well, let's talk about that armor. What's up with the armor? Normally in a dream, I didn't think you wanted armor, but maybe it's blankets and coats you don't want.
We don't want blankets and coats, and we usually don't want armor. But when we have a person who is an armor maker, who is skilled at putting this on in order to be able to fight, like think about movies where people are sitting on dragons and riding them into battle and so on. So protecting the dragon that's going to allow you to do that is a completely different thing. And also, when I tuned into it, I saw the armor as beautiful silver, like very, very shiny, which says like we're meant to focus on the positive aspects of this rather than the fact that it's a protection, because it's not a protection out of fear. It's a protection so that you can go into battle. Quite a different thing.
Wow. Okay. And then what about the betrothal?
So this was a former life thing. He was a dragon before. This is what they say. And it's like, when you're channeling, you're going, okay, this sounds nuts. How can anybody be a dragon? But here's what they've told me before. They said that we think we're the only things on the earth plane, but there's other parts of the earth plane that are out of phase with us. And we're basically 1/3 of what's in the earth plane. So there's a whole 2/3 that we're completely unaware of, that is invisible to the human eye. And sometimes people come and live in that space on the earth plane, and they can cross over between that phase of earth and human side of earth. And so that's what he was doing in one of his lifetimes. And he didn't have he couldn't make the connection that he wanted to do. So it was a sad part of the dream, connecting to something back, but really it connected back because it's like, you came here with this ability before, and really they want to connect him with this dragon nature that he has. And by having that connection, he'll then be able to do what he's meant to do here, even though he's not a dragon, he's human. But he's tapping into that energy that he used in a former lifetime. But when we tap into former lifetime stuff, we can't just cherry pick. We can't just say, okay, I'm going to take this piece and this piece. We get the whole lifetime. And so that negative part of that lifetime came in with it.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really cool. And then what was the sign for you that this was a previous lifetime and not this lifetime?
Well, because he wasn't a dragon. That was a big giveaway.
Ah. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. Very interesting. Oh, that was cool. I love the dragon. And I love the fact that he gets to fly as a dragon. That's so cool. So you may have mentioned it at the beginning of the dream, but I think I might have missed it. So the dragon dream and the falling trees dream, you said were related, even with people on different sides of the planet. Can you tie it together? Because I think I missed that.
Well, the tie together is that there are a lot of light workers here that are here to help and make this change happen. And lots of different roles. Some are here for after the fall, after the epoch change, after we go through all the negative stuff, bringing society back. And some are here to wake people up to what their purpose is in all of this. So there's quite a spread of people here. Like, this is also the last time that a lot of people who are really negative can come to this planet and get the opportunity to get a healing that they desperately need. And they're coming here for it, but they reject it over and over and over again. So this is the last time for a lot of people because they're so negative. The next time, you have to be positive. You're going to be aware of angels. You're going to be talking to them while you're here. not necessarily you, but you're definitely going to be aware of it. You know, there isn't going to be the selfishness, the greed, the corruption, all those things. They're just not going to be part of the planet as we go forward. And so how do we get from where we are now to that place? And so a lot of light workers are here to help people because it's their last chance for some considerable time, and also to wake up others and to do a lot of healing. And then others who are involved in the changes and preparing people for the changes. Like I mentioned Dan earlier, she's here shouting to people, something big's coming, you need to be prepared. You know, that's part of her purpose. And, you know, so a lot of people here, so one person having a dream on one side of the planet in Ireland saying it's fallen. It is, so the change is happening. So that dream says there's no going back now. It's like set in motion because the old guard is retired and we're now in the new one. So we're now in the transition phase, let's say, but we're still in the new one. And then to have somebody else on the other side of the planet have a dream that shows that they're here to protect the light workers who are here for that change. I just find it remarkable that, you know, different sides of the planet, both being shown how important their role is.
Wow, that's amazing. That is really cool. I'm glad you summarized that and put that together. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, that's our show for this week. I do hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.